Presented by Listen Headlines. Latest financial news from trusted sources. Updating daily noontime New York City.
Wall Street Journal Markets.
June 4th. 11 o'clock America, New York. Annuities. What investors should know. Fear over market turbulence has prompted investors to pour billions into annuities, often without understand the basics.
Wall Street Journal Markets.
June 4th. 11 o'clock America, New York. Search continues for source of TerraUSD crypto bank run. In decentralized finance, it isn't easy to understand who provides money for loans, where the money flows, or how easy it is to trigger currency meltdowns.
Armstrong Economics.
June 4th, 9:44 America, New York. Will the real president please stand up? President Biden on Friday declined to rule out Ukraine having to cede part of its territory to Russia in order to end this standoff with Moscow. Biden claims he won't tell Ukraine what to do in their own borders, but it's okay to call for the assassination or overthrow of Putin inside Russia.
Marginal revolution.
June 4th, 7:25 America, New York. Factory-built housing. Government concerns about great disparities in housing conditions, what are often called housing crises, date to at least the 1920s. These great disparities are, of course, still with us 100 years later.
New York Times Business.
June 4th, 5 o'clock America, New York. Apple sees virtually reality headset as its next big thing. The company has enlisted Hollywood directors like Jon Favreau to help its effort to create products that blend the physical and virtual worlds.
Global economy.
June 4th. 4 o'clock America, New York. Ukraine warns Black Sea blockade will cause global food crisis. Other routes out can deliver only a fraction of total grain stockpile, says minister.
New York Times Business.
June 4th, 3 o'clock America, New York. For truck drivers across the U.S., major change is approaching fast. As truck drivers are forced to adapt to increasing difficulties on the road, the support system that serves them is at risk of disappearing. The truck parking area at the Petro Travel Center in Ontario, Calif.
Marginal revolution.
June 4th, 2:41 America, New York. Tim Harford covers talent asterisk and parallel design. And Brian Eno. Here is one opening bit from the fort. Consider the advice for job interviewers in talent. A new book by economist Tyler Cowen and venture capitalist Daniel Gross.
Armstrong Economics.
June 4th, 0:03 America, New York. WEF praises quiet lockdowns. In a deleted video posted on the World Economic Forum's website, the group praised the lockdowns for offering a quiet atmosphere. The dystopian post-apocalyptic setting certainly seemed quiet at times.
Wall Street Journal Markets.
June 4th, 0:00 America, New York. Mike Novogratz's crypto comeback faces a trial by fire. The Wall Street star became so enamored with cryptocurrencies he had one of them tattooed to his arm. Then the market crashed.
Daily FX Market News.
June 3rd, 2200 America, New York. Weekly crude oil forecast. OPEC plus supply, U.S. dollar and economic data in focus. Crude oil has managed to end the week on high, leaving next week open to fundamental forces from both supply and demand side factors and a resurgent USD.
New York Times Business. June 3rd, 1939 America, New York. Tesla to cut 10% of salaried staff, Musk tells employees. The electric carmaker has been growing fast in recent years, but Elon Musk, its chief executive, appears to be concerned about a weakening economy. Model Y cars at the opening ceremony for Tesla's factory in Germany in March.
Wall Street Journal U.S. Business.
June 3rd, 1927 America, New York. Corporate executives gauge U.S. economy as clouds form. A long stretch of universal strength is giving way to a muddled outlook on labor, markets and consumer spending. Brace yourself.
Global economy. June 3rd, 1800 America, New York. UK cucumber and pepper crops face energy and labor crunch. Harvests down to less than half after growers opted not to plant in face of surging costs.
Daily FX Market News.
June 3rd, 1700 America, New York. Australian dollar primed to move on RBA, swinging risk appetite. The Australian dollar looks primed for volatility. An expectant mood ahead of the upcoming RBA policy update may compound sensitivity to seesawing risk appetite trends. The Library of Economics and Liberty.
June 3, 1629 America, New York, the wonders of economic growth. Many of us often refer to the good old days, and the era we have in mind seems to be anywhere from 30 years ago to 100 years ago, depending in part on our age.
Global economy.
June 3, 1625 America, New York, U.S. stocks end week down after jobs data bolster case for Fed tightening. European equities drift lower following disappointing report on Eurozone retail sales.
Wall Street Journal U.S. Business.
June 3, 1606 America, New York, EPA trims ethanol fuel mandate for 2020-21 but raises it for 2022. The Biden administration retroactively reduced the amount of ethanol that must be blended into gasoline for 2020 and 2021 but raised the level for 2022, saying the changes are aimed at helping boost domestic fuel supplies.
Wall Street Journal U.S. Business.
June 3, 1446 America, New York, Amazon consumer CEO, who led massive logistics expansion, resigns. Dave Clark's departure comes after the e-commerce giant recently acknowledged that it had overbuilt to meet pandemic demand.
BBC News. Business.
June 3, 1347 America, New York, Ukraine war. Marriott hotel chain to leave Russia after 25 years. Marriott says Western sanctions have made it impossible to continue to remain in Russia.
BBC News Business.
June 3, 1347 America, New York, Ukraine war. Marriott hotel chain to leave Russia after 25 years. Marriott says Western sanctions have made it impossible to continue to remain in Russia.
BBC News Business. June 3, 1308 America, New York, London's iconic Camden Market put up for sale. The market's billionaire owner is reportedly hoping a deal will net him as much as £1.5 billion.
BBC News. Business.
June 3, 1308 America, New York, London's iconic Camden Market put up for sale. The market's billionaire owner is reportedly hoping a deal will net him as much as £1.5 billion.
Marginal Revolution. June 3, 1244 America, New York. How the heritability of politics works. Estimates from the Minnesota Twins study show that sociopolitical conservatism is extraordinarily heritable, 74%, for the most informed fifth of the public, much more so than population-level results, 57%, but with much lower heritability, 29%, for the public's bottom half.